I'm Loren Cochran.
My name's Tom Vertetis, and I'm the managing partner at Pfau, Cochran, Vertetis, Amala.
And this is a case that the three of us have been working on with co-counsel, a guy named Tom Ballarud. So it has been 8 years that this case that we've been working on it as a team. We represented a man named Ton Orn, who was a Cambodian immigrant to the United States. He was driving along and TPD was trying to pull him over, and he didn't pull over. An officer who was responding created a blockade and then chased after Mr. Orn and shot at him 11 times, which ultimately made him a paraplegic.
Most people that we talk to with regards to focus groups or to try and get their feelings on this case were very resistant to our theory of liability against the city of Tacoma.
Because if you take any one particular part of this, ultimately, perhaps a jury would side with the shooter and with the city and say, well, this was what was happening at that particular time. We had to find a way to show the totality of the circumstances and show the entire response by the Tacoma Police Department. So that's where graphics became absolutely essential in this case.
Once we showed the demonstratives, once we actually showed the ballistics, people got it and they understood, and they really paused and said, why did this officer shoot at him? And why did he keep shooting?
What we were able to do is take the actual dispatch audio and play it through the first contact all the way through the shooting at the end. It just showed real time how unreasonable the defendant's actions were. And that was what was so important, to get by that natural bias that everybody has. With the actual medical demonstratives, those were hugely helpful, just to show basically two things. Number one, the angles that the bullets actually hit our client, but number two, the extreme damage that it did.
A really important aspect of this case is the amount of work that Loren and Tom Ballarud primarily did in just securing a safe environment for Ton to endure as this case went on for close to a decade. Loren and Tom Ballarud were instrumental in finding housing, nursing care, supportive care for a gentleman that had really complex medical issues. This case was a big deal. This was a decade-long fight that we knew would end up in trial. It went up to the Ninth Circuit.
We knew that we couldn't go into the courthouse. So when we got the order that said, yes, we're going to have a trial, but we're going to do it via Zoom, well, that wasn't an obstacle at all for DK Global.
At least in the federal court system, this is going to be the way it goes for the future.
We had a true working collaboration with DK Global. At no point did anyone on the team, were they discouraged or were they anything less than 100% on board and a part of the process, which was so important for us. I can tell you that the DK Global folks put in extra time, time that was not necessarily within the 9 to 5 work schedule, in order to make sure that we had these things. And that's what ultimately got these graphics in front of the jury, is that it was produced not only really well, but really quickly and as needed.
Case resolved on the 8th day of trial, and it resolved for an $8 million settlement. If we didn't win or resolve this case successfully for Ton, it would really impact his future. And I really felt that DK Global was a big part in that resolution for him.
We did have a question and answer period with the jury and with the court and with opposing counsel after. And what became very clear is that the more engaging the demonstratives, the more engaged the individual jurors were.
I don't know if we would have been nearly as successful if we didn't have those demonstratives. To me, that was the silver bullet that really brought this case around for a very successful resolution.